What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Get Growing. Today we are going to be rebuilding the tomato trellis. They've overgrown the one I previously built, so it's time for a new, more sturdy one. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, so I knew this day would come eventually. After I made that first video for the little $3 budget trellis, I didn't realize at the time that my tomatoes are an indeterminate variety. And there's two types of tomatoes. There's determinate and indeterminate varieties. I don't know about all of them, but I know the beefsteak tomatoes are an indeterminate. And what that means is it's going to keep producing fruit until the first frost. Rather than determinate tomatoes, they'll grow to a certain size and stop growing. They'll produce not a certain number of fruit, but the plant itself will go to a certain size and it'll just stop growing. My tomatoes are going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So, and it's Florida, so I'm not gonna see the first frost for a while. So what to do? As you can see, they have definitely outgrown the budget trellis. There's some parts that are about almost 3 feet taller than the trellis that I made. So obviously I'm gonna have to rethink something. And even on this side, it actually broke it right there. So I need to rethink. And this sparked some thinking, because what am I gonna do? I could go buy some more I could buy some longer wooden posts, but I only have a car. So not everybody has a truck. So I want to make this like for things that you just have laying around the house, whether it be pallets, or in my case, what I'm going to be using is an old trampoline. It's already been like disassembled for a long time. It was sitting in the yard before I even moved into this place, and it was just sitting there. So I took it down and kept it, because you never know. That's a lot of metal. You could use it for something. And I'm glad I saved it, because I'm going to be using that to make the new trellis. And it's basically going to be a hang trellis where it just goes from one end to another. And basically I'll make T-posts like this, and just like I did for the bird feeder, but it's going to be a little bit taller, and it's going to go over the tomatoes. And now the reason why I decided to just go with this little trampoline frame that I have laying around is, one, it's sturdy, it's stainless steel, it's not gonna rust on me, it's gonna last as long as I want it to. The height is also adjustable on it, and it has these little holes neatly spaced to where I can tie in some string. So I think I'd be silly not to use this method. So let's get right into getting everything set up, and I hope to God this works. Okay, so luckily I have a trampoline just lying around, and so all I'm gonna need to create these T-posts is a couple of the straight legs and a few pieces of the outer rim of the trampoline. The beauty of this is it's stainless steel, it's not gonna rust on me, not for any length of time that I'm gonna be using it anyways. And it's sturdy. I can kind of customize it. I can raise it or lower it if I need to. So for my instance, with how big my tomatoes are, I'm gonna be using four of the leg posts, and 2 of these to go across. And I'm gonna be making 2 of them to create kind of a clothesline structure, and that's what I'm gonna be tying the tomatoes off to. So let's go ahead and get this assembled. Now, you'll notice one of the parts of the rim have the little leg bits on it and one doesn't. That's because I only need one of these with the leg bit to go into the post. And so you're gonna take this part of the frame, make sure the holes for the springs are on the same side. You stick those together, and then I might wanna back up to stand this up. All right, we're gonna get this in the ground, and I'm gonna be putting it all the way on the outside, because just in case my orange tree needs to be tied off and support it a little bit because, you know, we are in Florida. Sometimes we get heavy winds. So I'd rather be ahead of the problem. So just gotta drive this into the ground. I'm sure there's a smarter way to do this, but it's actually working quite well. Let me get a hammer. Yeah, I wouldn't twist and push like I was doing because it's not gonna be straight if you do that. Now I wanna get it about halfway into the first stake. So that way I know it's got enough in the ground. I think that's actually pretty good. So now that that is in, let's go ahead and put the second half on. That is perfect. And then the T-post. And there we go. It is straight. And goes perfectly across. Oh yeah. And that was so much less work than the trellis I made before. Jesus. All right, let's get the second one done in record time. Okay, so I managed to get 2 lines of paracord across on both ends, so it is now sturdy, under tension, and good to go. But I don't know if the camera does it justice, but lightning is about to be all around me and I don't feel like working with metal poles. So I will be back when the weather clears up. All right, weather's cleared up a little bit. And as I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna tie the strings off to go across like through the middle and whatnot, the holes for the springs that go across the outer beam, they're only on the top. So I remembered, I was like, I still have the springs. I know those fit. So check this out. I can literally just hook them in where I want. And that becomes a point where I can tie the string off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get five different lines across in the middle and the 2 on the outside, which I'll probably end up tightening. I mean, I'll probably have to do some adjustments here and there to get everything like taut. But let's go ahead and do this at super speed. And also you can get this anywhere between $5 and $10. It's just regular hemp line. You can get it at the arts and crafts section of Walmart. Cheap, and you get a bunch of it. And the easy way to not let this ever get tangled, just pull from the center. That's where you get the first bit of this. It unravels from there. Keeps it nice and neat. Post-production Alex here. Just want to emphasize that you don't have to have a spare trampoline to do this. You can use 2x4s, PVC pipe, even big tree branches if you feel so inclined. This is merely an example of what you can do with things laying around the house. And as you can see, I have lines going all the way across, and it completely covers the entire tomato bed and goes over the citrus. And so now I'm going to begin the process of tying off all these branches that need to be supported. I'm going to tie them individually to whatever line is closest above it. And I'm going to do that with all these branches and get rid of these posts and everything. I feel like that'll be a lot more aesthetic. right, it is the following day, and as you can see, I am done. Everything is under proper tension. The tomatoes, in my opinion, I think they look so much better than what it did, especially now because they're not restricted to the trellis that's like right there on the border of the raised bed. Now I have these lines that are further on the outside, so the plant can kind of fan out and breathe a lot better. It's a lot easier for me to get all the way to the center if I need to. It's so much simpler. I should have done this first. And yeah, the beauty of it is with the fact that I'm using the springs and it sinks so properly in there, if I need to take some slack off, if I need to add slack or take it away, I can just rotate these springs. And that keeps them under proper tension. If I want it to be tighter, I can turn that spring around that way, and that'll take about 5-6 inches off of the line, which will bring it tighter, but I don't need to do that right now. Yeah, this works so much better. I don't know why I didn't do this at first. So yeah, there's another type of trellising. I'm gonna assume it's called clothesline, like the clothesline type of trellis, but regardless of what it's called, it works. So as you can see, there's a lot less string and stuff that I have to deal with around the sides that would otherwise be blocking me from being able to get to my plant without having to go through a bunch of wires and cords and stuff on the side. And so now I can get right up in here. And as you can see, one of my tomatoes is almost ready to pick. Got a bunch of green ones here. But yeah, so as you can see, these tomatoes plant themselves gets huge. So I definitely needed to do this because now it allows, like this side, for example, you see how far out it wants to go from the border of the raised bed. So it would have all been bunched up against there with that trellising that I had before. So this is going to work a lot better. Yeah. This is so much better. And as an added bonus, it's supporting my orange tree too. Getting 2 birds stoned with 1 joint. My genius knows no bounds. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and remember, if you have a spare trampoline, don't throw it away, because you could use it for something else. So, see you guys on the next one.